Let me tell you something I won't teach you in school. The world doesn't care how nice you are, how smart you are, how pure your intentions are. If you don't demand respect, you'll get walked on. Simple. So the question is, are you here to be liked or are you here to be respected? When someone disrespects you, the most powerful move you can make is to cut them off without warning. Not with a speech, not with a guilt trip, not with a long text. Just gone. People who don't respect you have already calculated that you're not a threat, that you won't do anything, that they can talk to you or treat you however they want and get away with it. And the moment you start explaining yourself or trying to fix things with someone who sees you as beneath them, you confirm their assumptions. You don't argue with disrespect, you eliminate it. See, people think power comes from confrontation. It doesn't. Power comes from control. And when you simply remove someone from your energy without a word, you're showing absolute control over them, over your emotions, over the situation. You're saying, I don't need to argue with you. I don't need closure. I don't even need you to understand what you did wrong. You're no longer worth my time. That's a different level of dominance. You're no longer playing the game they started. You just flipped the board and walked away. This isn't about ego. It's about standards. When you tolerate disrespect, even once, you're setting the bar for how people are allowed to treat you. People watch how you react to disrespect. If you brush it off, if you laugh it off, if you keep someone in your circle after they've crossed the line, you're teaching them that your boundaries are weak. Cutting someone off instantly is how you protect your territory. It's how you remind people that access to your time, your energy, your life is a privilege, not a right. You don't have to make a scene. The world doesn't need to know what happened. You don't have to tell them you're cutting them off. You just stop responding. Stop replying. Stop engaging. Don't give them the satisfaction of knowing they rattled you. Because they didn't. You simply decided they're not worth the space they're taking up in your world. No emotion, just action. People respect what they can't manipulate. They respect what they can't predict. When they expect you to argue, to cry, to explain, and instead you vanish, you become a mystery. That mystery creates power. They'll wonder why you're not fighting back. They'll rethink what they said or did. That silence, it echoes longer than any argument you could have had. Cutting someone off isn't about hate, it's about self-respect. It's about knowing that peace is more valuable than attention and your focus is your currency. Waste it on someone who doesn't respect you and you bankrupt yourself. So don't. Walk away, quietly, and never look back. When someone disrespects you, the worst thing you can do is try to argue your worth. The moment you try to convince someone that you deserve respect, you've already lost ground. Respect is not something you negotiate for. It's something you display, something you embody, something you command through presence, action, and results. When you find yourself in a situation where someone doubts your value or treats you like you're insignificant, the solution isn't to talk more, it's to do more. You show them, not tell them. Words are cheap, especially to people who have already decided not to listen to you. If someone has no respect for you, they don't value what comes out of your mouth in the first place. So explaining, debating, pleading, none of that moves them. It only reinforces what they already think, that they have the upper hand, that you're desperate to be validated, that you're trying to climb up to their level. That mindset puts you beneath them, and the more you talk, the deeper you dig yourself. Action, on the other hand, is undeniable. When you're winning, when you're sharp, when you're building, when you're focused, people can't ignore that. You don't need to explain anything because your lifestyle becomes the explanation. Your discipline speaks louder than arguments. Your results shut down conversations before they start. If someone doesn't respect you, your job is not to fight for their approval. It's to win so obviously and so relentlessly that their opinion becomes irrelevant. Every room you walk into, you have two choices. You can try to prove you belong, or you can carry yourself like you belong and let the room adjust. That's the difference between showing and telling. Showing means you don't need permission. You don't need validation. You just are. And people feel that. They can't always describe it, but they know when someone walks in with undeniable presence. That presence is built in silence, through work, through consistency, through focus. You earn it when no one's clapping, when no one's watching, when you're in the dark building something real. People may not like you. They may talk about you. They may underestimate you. Let them. That's fuel. You don't respond to disrespect with noise. You respond with growth. You move in silence and you let your next level speak for you. If they don't respect you now, that's fine. They'll respect the results. They always do. Eventually, the ones who doubted you will be the ones trying to understand how you did it. That's the power of showing instead of telling. Trying to argue your value is weak, living your value is strong. The more time you spend trying to convince someone, the less time you're actually putting into becoming someone undeniable. Don't explain. Don't react. Just elevate. Let your success be the only statement you ever make. When someone disrespects you, your first instinct might be to react. You feel that heat in your chest. Your pride takes a hit and you want to respond. Loud, aggressive, emotional.
This is what we need. This is what humanity needs. This is what revitalizes and brings us all back to life.
It's amazing, this understanding of the human condition. It's what the whole world...
Your pride takes a hit and you want to respond. Loud, aggressive, emotional. But that's exactly what weak people expect you to do. They want a reaction. Because reactions are easy to control. When you lash out, when you start yelling, when you let your emotions take over, you give away your power. You become predictable. And once you're predictable, you're no longer a threat, you're just noise. Control is the highest form of strength. Real power doesn't scream. It doesn't flinch. It doesn't crack under pressure. It stays cold. When someone disrespects you, your ability to stay composed is what separates you from the average person. Most people react. Few stay calm and calculate. If someone insults you, if someone tries to belittle you and you respond emotionally, you've already lost. Not because they were right, but because you how you feel. That's weakness disguised as pride. There's a huge difference between power and impulse. Impulse is loud. It's fueled by ego, by insecurity, by a desperate need to defend yourself. Power is quiet. It doesn't need to explain. It just acts. Strategically, with intention, with precision. When you don't react emotionally, you're not avoiding the issue, you're mastering it. You're stepping back and saying, I don't play by your rules. I don't fight on your terms. I choose when and how I respond. That is dominance. In every moment of disrespect, there's a test. The test is simple. Will you lose control or will you rise above it? The moment you explode, they win. They got inside your head. They shook you. But if you keep your expression neutral, your voice calm, your energy unfazed, they don't know what to do. They expected weakness, you gave them discipline. They expected noise, you gave them silence. That silence is dangerous because it means you're thinking, calculating, planning. And smart people know never to underestimate someone who stays calm in the face of disrespect. This isn't about being passive, it's about being selective. You don't respond to everything, you don't fight every battle, you don't engage with every fool. You stay focused on what matters, your goals, your mission, your progress. When someone disrespects you, your revenge is in your evolution. Your strength is in your restraint. You don't need to throw a punch when you're already 5 moves ahead. You don't need to scream when your results speak volumes. Staying unemotional doesn't make you soft, it makes you untouchable. You control the temperature in every room you walk into. You decide when to speak, when to move, when to act. The person who can stay calm under pressure is the person who always wins. Because while everyone else is reacting, you're leading. Respect isn't something you ask for, it's something you command. The moment you start begging people to treat you right, you've already lost the game. People don't respect desperation, they respect power. Trying to prove your worth. Respects you, and instead of walking away, you try to explain, fix, or justify yourself. You're sending one message loud and clear. You're willing to tolerate being treated like less. That kind of energy tells people they can play with your time, your emotions, and your dignity. You think you're holding the relationship together. You think you're showing maturity or compassion. But in reality, doing is feeding their ego and weakening your own stance. You've handed over control. Commanding respect isn't about being aggressive or arrogant. It's about knowing who you are and making it clear that access to you comes with conditions. It means you walk into every situation with a mindset that says, I don't need to be liked. I need to be respected. People pick up on that instantly. Your tone, your body language, your eye contact. They all communicate how much you respect yourself, and the world mirrors that back to you. When someone sees that you're unfazed by their approval or rejection, it shakes them. Most people are so used to being chased that when you don't play that game, they start wondering, what makes you different? Why aren't you reacting? Why aren't you fighting for their attention? That silence, that lack of response, that calm detachment, it creates curiosity, even fear. Because now they realize they don't control the situation anymore. Too many people hand over their power because they don't want to be alone, they don't want conflict, or they're afraid to look cold. But there's nothing cold about having standards. There's nothing harsh about refusing to tolerate disrespect. It's called self-worth. And the ones who understand your value will never put you in a position where you have to question it. If you find yourself explaining to someone why they should treat you better, understand what's happening. You're negotiating with someone who already made a decision about your worth. Your job is not to argue with that decision. Your job is to exit the conversation, step up your game, and continue building the kind of life that speaks louder than any words ever could. When you carry yourself like a person of value, you don't chase, you attract. You don't ask for respect.
but there was incomplete shit. And here we go again. I'm trying to be really not yelling at him and nothing. All your mess that you've made, you're gonna clean it up. You have to understand what's going